No
All right,
doubt.
we got to roll in.
Gotcha.
Hey, this is your girl, and you know I am. I'm Angela D. Stribling, formerly from A New After Sunday on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Now I am just Angela D. Stribling on the Angela D. Stribling channel on YouTube, and you can catch me still with all the great individuals that come on my platform, allowing me to just deal with my podcast. This will be streaming on YouTube, and I'm excited beyond excitement to have my first guest. I know this brother personally, but I see him on Instagram and I watch individuals to see what their platforms are all about. And so he is just so engaging. And I just wanted him to be introduced to the larger society so we can let the world know who this brother is. He is Chris Stallworth, but of course, he is better known as Nightmare. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm well, extremely well. I
Yes,
got no
I'm so
complaints.
humble. Yes, I'm humbled that you took the time out of your busy schedule to just come on the A New After Sunday on the Angela D. Stribling channel to let the viewers hear about you and what you do in the community. I know you're a boxer, you have your own academy, but let me just take us back. Who is first Chris Stallworth? Then we can get into who Nightmare is.
All right. Chris Stallworth is a humble vein who was given a huge responsibility once he was given knowledge of self, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay. Chris Stallworth was a ordinary kid who had a background from trauma, from a
Okay.
heroin addict father, and also a mother who struggled with illnesses, high blood pressure, etc. And
Okay.
anyway, Chris Stallworth was a kid at one point in time who was raised by his grandmother, who was
Okay.
really, really, really spiritual and strict. And however, she was up there in age, yet he was a young guy. So at that time, he grew a little aggravated because he felt like she couldn't really, really understand the magnitude of his thought process as a kid, and she was an elderly woman. You know,
Okay.
so I was given a bunch of morals and responsibilities at a young age. Just similar to DMX, feel the pain of a joy and joy of a man who was never a boy. So I was given manly responsibilities at the age of a child. So
Okay, okay. So, and because of those responsibilities, I'm sure it matured you older than your years, correct?
absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes. When did you, what was boxing to you? Was that an outlet for you?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Honestly, right? Most people ask, did I choose it? No, it actually chose me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I come from a background of uncles and cousins and family members who were boxers. And
Okay,
as a child, always had an infatuation with the ring. But I always like to identify with strength, and
mm-hmm.
the ring, identify with strength. As one point in time, with me coming up, there were bullies in my area. There were bullies in my area. And I was a smaller guy at one time. And
Okay,
I looked up to my uncles and my cousins who were well respected, but there was something about the ring that I had a huge infatuation with.
okay.
Um, when you say it chose me, I had a lot of anger.
Uh-huh.
My anger outweighed my size. So for me to have that level of anger, but a small guy at one time, I had to connect with some form of activity, right? That was going
Mm-hmm.
to empower me as I grew, so I can match my anger with my personality, with my size. However, that's the way I thought early.
Right.
Really, boxing is impulse modification. Okay,
Okay.
I had a lot of impulse. It's self-esteem awareness. It is also situation awareness. You learn disciplined ways. Then also you learn healthy ways about fitness and nutrition and diet. Even more, right? The anger leaves, the hostility leaves, and you deserve. And then what happens is you develop compassion for people because you know what you can do to harm people, and then you look back and see there was other guys that were similar to you that experienced the same anger and hostility, and this is a good avenue and outlet so they can resolve that impulse.
Okay. And so at what age did you start boxing and where did it lead you?
Well, I was 9 years old when I was introduced to boxing. Uh,
Okay.
started at, started at the K Boys Club in the Hill District after school
Yes.
program.
Okay.
Okay, and I fell in love with it. 5 days a week, I went to the gym Monday through Friday, and which is an activity to do. Other than I play basketball and football also for fun. But I fell in love with it. And as I fell in love with it, I tell people, right, you only get out of it what you put into it. So
Absolutely.
there wasn't nothing special about me, honestly, Queen, but there was a special obsession with me,
Yes.
right? I tell
Yes.
people, right, it ain't really, really special about me. It was a special obsession. When you become obsessed with something,
Yes.
when you dream about it, you sleep about it, it's all you do. You find yourself shadow boxing, and even when you daydreaming in class, thinking about boxing, and all of a sudden you're going home after you're doing your schoolwork, you're studying the greats like Ali and all that. Guess what? It's going to become a physical manifestation, and attack
Right.
you. And all of a sudden, right? I got the best out of it. The Golden Glove champion, Ohio State Fair champion, Keystone Game champion, and then 1997 is a year that I turned professional and got licensed.
Awesome. 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 And so what birthed out of that transition? Did you meet some amazing people doing this? And did you think, because often I think everything that we've dealt with in our youth essentially is who we become. As we dreamed, like you said, this was your outlet, and it actually became your purpose in life. So did you at some point realize this was what you was destined to do?
Yeah, honestly, it became a ministry to me. So it was no
Absolutely.
longer it transcended boxing, right? It
Right.
became an avenue, right? For me to show a better way for violence prevention. I got
Mm-hmm.
a chance to travel the world. Actually, I've been in a lot of camps. I've been to Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I've been to Russia. I've been to different states, just about every state in PA, Jersey City, Florida. In fact, my manager actually lives in Florida right now, but I've been in Nashville, Tennessee. I fought in the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut on Showbox Next Generation. I got a chance to spar some of the greats, meet some of the greats. I got a
Yeah.
lot of rounds in with Roy Jones Jr. Actually, I'm on
Okay.
YouTube sparring. Shannon Briggs and Andrew Galata. You can look that up.
Okay.
But champions, former champions, I got a chance to meet a lot of different people, personalities, and hear their stories of how they did it. We had a lot of things in common. So
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, on a professional level, then when did you decide to open up your academy, and how long has that been open for?
all right, so I opened my boxing academy in 2013, and
Okay.
after going back to school and get my master's in kinesiology,
Oh,
I was working.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You got a master's too? How about
yeah, I got a
that?
master's in kinesiology, which is the study of human body. But
Okay.
I didn't like the fact that having a master's degree, they would still try to give you ordinary wages at regular jobs. So, no,
Right. Exactly.
no, I said this ain't gonna fly. So I opened up my academy in 2013. I stepped out on faith. As a black business owner, yes, and I had total faith. Faith without fear. And I use the same plight in the background that I had raising Planet Fitness from a stone to a mountain.
Okay.
Same thing that I do, but the difference is the crowd that I cater to was people who looked like me, thought like me, had the energy like
Absolutely.
me. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And how do they receive? Because you have a very strong personality, but I know you come from a place of truly being someone who's had that experience and had that journey. How do the kids, the youth, how do they accept that from you?
Well, I'm gonna let you in on something, right? I come to them humble because trust is everything, right? And
Absolutely.
I've learned I'm 6'4" in stature, weigh 220 pounds, right? I've learned how to make myself smaller and
Absolutely.
receptive towards women, towards children, because trust is
Absolutely.
everything, right? And when you
Yes.
plant that seed and let them know there's a need for this, right? And what it actually did, what it does, and what it done for my life, because there's a lot of young kids, a lot of young men, and a lot of women who are self-esteem issues. Number
Yes.
one, right? Emotional issues. Or something, who are really, really, maybe insecure with their body type, or even
Right.
you'd be surprised, a lot of men who carry a hard exterior because they have to.
Absolutely.
In the world, it's hard to be transparent to, right? But really, 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 they need that. They need that level of substance, right, to match their hard exterior, right, so they can feel
Right.
safe enough to guard their families and their children, right? I
Right.
come to them humble, right, and once I come to them humble, right, now I get them in a huddle after I spend a period of time, and all of a sudden, right, their self-esteem raises, right, and I start giving them little quotes, you know what I mean, let them know that the black woman is a goddess and the black man is God, you know what I mean, and the energy and everything that derived from that, right, and their thought process. Even more, the most important part, right, what's birthed from that It's called polarity consciousness. Polarity
And,
consciousness.
and can
Very,
you
very important.
expound on that?
Absolutely. So when we say polarity consciousness, polarity means either repel or attract, right?
Okay.
Consciousness means, you know, I mean, the science of this and the knowing. See, what I do is I say, know thyself, right? Knowledge,
Right.
right? You know that knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? So know the ledge, which is knowledge, so you can wise the dumb, which is wisdom, right? And so when
Uh-huh.
they get the polarity consciousness, they understand their self and what works for them, right? And what repels
Right.
against them, right? And with that alone, polarity consciousness, right? You walk with a smile on your face because you leave to please God every day. Number two. Number three, right? You walk with faith and no fear. Number three, you get even more knowledge of what you put in your body, like as far as food and even the
Yeah.
activities you're doing, even the people that you attract, right? You're going to attract those kind of people, right? You're going to repair everything else when you walk in that light. So that seed of polarity consciousness is watered right there. And all you got to
Yeah.
do is exercise, eat right, drink water every day, read something positive, right? And all of a sudden, these positive affirmations keep coming to you at an alarming rate, and everything changes. And
Yes.
each
Yes.
one teaches one.
Yes, yes, yes. And I see you do that a lot on social media. Instagram is, I think we're connected with, where you put out positives and all. I mean, I see you talking to encourage women. I see you talking,
Yeah,
encouraging the youth,
yeah,
definitely the black man. I see that often.
yeah.
And so with your platform, did you start out doing that intentionally?
Yes. So I got two platforms. One is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Change has come
Yes,
X.
next. Yes, that's yeah.
Yep, yep. And what I did was I aim for the black man to empower the black woman, and I aim to put out quotes for the black woman to empower the black man. That's polarity consciousness
Yes,
because there's too many huddles of men against women, right? There's too many huddles
yeah,
of men
yeah,
against women,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
the youth is watching an alarming rate. You'd be surprised, right?
And
And
you know
so,
what? Not to cut you off, I think it's intentional.
yeah,
I
yes,
think that
absolutely,
negativity is being put out intentionally to divide us, to
right,
conquer. You know what I mean?
yeah, right. That's why we need more revolutionaries to stand up and
Yeah,
champion the black woman. Because
yes,
when a black woman goes on and she try to champion herself, we were taught to call that arrogance. Or if the black man go on and champion himself, we were taught that's arrogance. So I flip it. The black man champions a black woman. In reverse, I put quotes
absolutely,
on the black woman champions a black man. Right?
absolutely,
So
absolutely. And
nothing
that's
be
a win-win.
chauvinistic.
Right,
Right, right.
right, right. I
Of course,
agree with that.
of course, I get a lot of backlash on it. I crack up laughing by the dozens when I get the backlash because it can't harm me. It can't remove me.
So what? Who would backlash you? Give me a
Uh,
scenario.
so, so I get a lot of backlash on these guys who really got challenged self-esteem, right? Who would
Yeah.
uh who would say that's a beta male stuff, right? I'm an alpha male. I'm on steroids, I'm an alpha male, right? But when a black man champions a black woman, they got these specific terms they use for those guys. You know what I mean? He's a beta male, he's this and that. Or, when a black woman champions a black man, you know what I mean, she's talked too bad. Oh, you on their side, this and that. Don't realize too, right? The black woman is the divine portal, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely.
And guess what? The black man is the law in human
Yeah,
form and
yeah.
physical manifestation, right? So it don't matter these terms, right? That you throw out, it can't be altered. That's nature.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of the term alpha male, I was thinking my dad, he's been deceased since 2011, but his birthday's coming up. So I've been thinking on Tuesday, the 27th. So I've been thinking a lot about him. And
Uh-huh.
I've been thinking a lot just in the spaces that I'm in. And that term alpha, my dad was an alpha male. I
Uh,
mean, when
uh,
he walked through the door, he
yeah,
commanded his presence and we respected him as the head of the household. But I think in today's society, but he was the provider. He was he was the breadwinner. My mother didn't have to work. But
keyword provider, protector. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but I think
Keyword.
into
You can't call yourself an alpha male if you ain't no provider, no protector. Stop
that's
that.
where I'm going with that
Yeah.
because a lot of people, and he kind of sort of made me an alpha female
Yeah.
because of him.
Yeah.
However, sometimes people use the word alpha male and they don't realize that you are the provider, you are the protector. And just because you're male, that doesn't make you alpha. So can
Well,
you just kind of,
yes,
can you
yes.
just give me your terminology on it?
All right. So number one, alpha male. You said the first two part, right? Attributes, provider and protector. All right, that's number one. Number two. Number three, I'm gonna tell you something else. The biggest misconception, right? Alpha male don't need to holler. He don't need to be aggressive.
Yes.
He exudes power when he come in the room. Period. Right?
Like my
So
dad.
he
Yes.
he commands. He don't have to demand it. He commands respect because it's the fiber of his being. Right? But guess what? Right?
Yes.
He's the biggest teddy bear in the world and the biggest
Yes.
cheerleader in the world for other brothers, for sisters,
Yes.
and children. See, it's the beta
Yes.
male, right, who can't give other men their props, and it's the beta male who go back and forth and argue with
Got
women
you.
and, and judge, right, right. So the alpha man don't do any of that. In fact, the alpha male sometimes
Yeah.
got to make himself smaller and make his voice
Right.
a little bit
Because
lower,
the
right?
alpha male and
Yeah.
also the alpha female, they
Uh,
already know who they are. So
yes. Yeah.
you don't have to hate, you don't
Right.
have to talk down on the others because I already know who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or with the male, he already knows who he is. So he's confident already and he's secure in who he is. He doesn't
Uh,
have to put got you, got you, got you, got you, got you,
Another
got
thing, I gotta always get reassurance, right? I got a deep voice, and I got a real deep voice, right? And I smile, and I said, "This is not anger. This is passion." So I have to smile all the time and say, "Yo, this is not anger. This is passion." So come here. Here's a hug. You can
you.
hug
Right,
another brother,
right,
right? You can hug another brother. You can hug a sister. Or if I'm trying to come on to the sister, you can grab a kid and say, "Hey, you're gonna be my future leader when I'm old gray. We need you, baby."
right, right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you for clearing that up. But I think I already had it because my dad, he was something special. Nightmare. Where'd you get
Uh,
that name from?
so listen real closely. Listen, the very fiber of my nature is rebellion. All right,
Okay.
rebellion against criminal activity, rebellion against racism,
Mm-hmm.
rebellion against corruption. Regardless, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the black sheep. That's number one. Always been a black sheep. Always
Okay.
been aggressive, real aggressive. I was younger, right? But even more, right? When I put that rebellion and aggression to the knowledge, and I got that
Right.
right, and I became the enemy's nightmare, the devil's nightmare, the nightmare of United States. You know what I mean? Corruption. You know,
Yeah.
nightmare. Period. Last night, at least, too, right? You know what I mean? I couldn't be called a dream, right? Because dreams are controllable, right? Nightmares say you can't control. You know, so I actually stuck. You know, last not least too, right? You know what I mean? That matches my stature, my complexion, matches my style in the ring, and matches my
Right.
style when I walk in the room too. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so, and last not least too, I've been surrounded around by a bunch of yes men my whole life, right? You know what I mean? I despise yes men. I'm a yes man's nightmare. Period.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess with all these attributes, and you're very, very outspoken and you're very, very confident. And like you do have a very baritone voice. When people see you, do they kind of have fear? It's
okay.
like at
So
the end of the day,
yeah,
you're a nice person because I've seen you. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I hug you every time I see you. Say peace, Queen.
Yeah.
Man, so listen, the people that are confident, they get inspired when I walk in the ring. Walk in the ring.
Okay. Okay.
The people who probably lacks self-esteem, right? They get nervous, get angry when I walk in the room. Okay, some women, stare at me right with a smile when I walk in the room, and there's other women, you know what I mean, might turn their nose up, right? I'm gonna tell you what, I'm an enigma, right? I'm an obscure riddle. I'm a complex person. That's why I call myself the most misunderstood nightmare. I'm very misunderstood energy wise. It all depends on a person's trauma level, how they take me. When I say
Right.
trauma level, if a person understood what I've been through, right, they would embrace me. If a person
Right.
don't understand what I've been through, right, but they're going through something, you know what I mean? I might rub them the wrong way without them understanding. Just like on social media, also, right? And then there's other people, right, who identify with strength. When they see me, right, they
Right.
love when I walk in the room, right? There's other men who are lack confidence, right? You know what I mean? They might be with their wife or their woman, right? They might turn their nose at me, but don't realize, right? I'm embracing them too as a couple. So
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
but they don't give themselves an opportunity to hear from me, to understand it, to know exactly who I am, right? So when I walk in the room, it all depends on the level of trauma that the person's facing, how I'm received.
Right. And whether they've done their own work and they've healed for who they are. Because that
Absolutely.
I have
Right.
issues with that oftentimes in certain spaces too. And I'm just walking in as myself. But when you walk in as yourself, sometimes you don't know how powerful that is perceived from other people. Where I'm just walking in. You don't understand what I'm
saying? Yes. Hey, Queen, I go through it all the time. Right. And then you got those people, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, right? And I've seen some of the people that I grew up with, right? When they act if they're happy to see you, right? But their handshake ain't matching their smile. So sometimes, right? Because I left here to go get my master's. I came back. You know what I mean? There was a time I was in the streets. Long story. We ain't got to go there, right? I left to go get the education, right? I got knowledge of self, right? You know what I mean? I developed compassion, right? You know, and I've learned how to, you know, put it in the bottle rather than just explode and be in the streets and knocking dudes out on the streets, walking halfway across the street, right? So they don't know how to take me, you know? So a lot of times I see them nowadays, right? They're wondering, damn, how was he fast enough to jump over these hurdles? But I wasn't. So when they see me, I shake their hand and I notice their handshake don't match their smile. That's foul. Excuse my language.
Right. But you know, we all have to evolve. You understand? Like, I even think about myself, like what I was 20 years ago, I'm nowhere near that person anymore. And
I'm the same dude I was last year.
Like that part.
Yeah. So let's do this. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
That's all right.
Awareness of the trials. For me, it was the trials and tribulations that was put in front of me. It didn't allow me to succumb to that. It made me say, what was that for? And then once I began to realize that was stumbling blocks to what was already in the works of my purpose. You understand what I'm saying? So the things that I'm involved with now, that was already destined in the cards. And I'm not done because there's other stuff that is, I'm just on the part, I'm in midway in the journey now. You understand what I'm saying? Where some people don't understand that where they are now is not definitely where you're supposed to be 10 years from now, you know?
Right. Thank God, I had an opportunity for the last few years to have been a trauma response coordinator. So I learned a lot about trauma. It's number one. Number two, right? Emotion support coordinator. I learned a lot about people's personalities and things like that. A violence prevention leader. And you know what I mean? I learned a lot with that, right? Even a protective service investigator. You know, people don't know that about me too. Also, right? So I watch out for seniors and the old folks. And so I got a chance to further my education, even my knowledge of seeing why people are where they are, why they think that way, certain situations, scenarios, and certain triggers that people have, and learn how to be more compassionate towards people's level of development, you know, because there's a lot of grown individuals who are still operating in a state of arrested development, which means emotionally they might be 16 years old, but physically they may be 60 years old.
Talk about it, because my undergrad is in psychology, and I witness it all the time. But it's from trauma though. If a certain traumatic situation happened at 15, they could be there. If they don't get the help that they need to break that cycle, they can be there for the next 20 years, but their physical is still growing. You know what I mean? Or for instance, someone who may have been incarcerated, the day they went into incarceration, no matter what that age was, sometimes the time that they spend there, they're stuck. When they come out, they're still stuck at that age because that was the last. So if you went in at 16 and you come home at 30, you're still in a 16-year-old mentality because time stopped. You know what I mean? So
and they call it in prison, they call it corrections, but there's nothing being corrected, Queen. Nothing. Right. I've learned even in school, right? When I was in kinesiology, right? Number one, right? There's a conscious and there's an unconscious, and so your frontal lobe is what you volunteer to put inside your body, whether it's nourishment, food, information, right? But then your sagittal plane, it manifests as a state over a period of time, which is your unconscious. So imagine every thought producing a chemical, and these chemical
Mm-hmm.
and these negative thoughts and this negative food and everything that's not good for you festering over a period of time, and all of a sudden it's on autopilot, and then you're going out in this world to think you're gonna go here and apply for a job, or you never
Right.
learn how to resolve emotions, and you know what I
Right.
mean, you develop all kind of triggers without even knowing it. And thing is people think therapy is a myth. Therapy is necessary, very necessary.
Yeah, and it's so much in the Black community. Especially we kind of frown upon it, but
Uh-huh.
we all need help at some point, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Uh-huh.
And to put the band-aids on it, which are the drugs, the drinking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
the fornication, that doesn't
Yeah.
solve the fact that something's
Uh-huh.
hurting your heart, something's
Yeah.
in your mind that ain't right. You need to get
Yeah.
that together in order to get healed so you can move on and be successful in life, whatever success is to you. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Yep.
Yeah.
So we are all products of the great Myafa, the great suffering, the black man, the black woman,
Yeah.
Myafa. So we're all trauma stricken, right? A lot
Yes.
of us A lot of us don't confess it. A lot of us don't know it, and a lot of us don't know the magnitude of certain things. So a lot of people carry on dysfunctional lifestyles, but they
Right.
turn their nose about the next person. You know, so a lot of that's going on. But like you
Right.
said,
Right.
the some people have a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, food addiction, pornography addiction, become
Yeah.
addicted to video games. Now, listen, I'm gonna tell you about me. I am the son, okay, of a former heroin addict. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So number one, I've never, ever, ever used a drug in my life. Never. Okay.
Right.
But because I was the son of a heroin addict, okay, I was born with something that they would call obsessive compulsive disorder, which means whatever I place my hand on, it's a possibility I was going to be addicted. Okay.
Right.
Thank the Most High that I was channeled towards something positive like boxing, because I didn't know how to put it down. I was
Yes.
up 3 a.m. working
Yes.
out, you know, when I was
Yes.
supposed to be asleep, but it became a
You
positive
still have
reality.
the behavior though.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Wow.
I wound up getting licensed. Okay. Now teaching other people the ways, and I'm managing, promoting, and training so they can have careers also the same way. But I understood it though, that I had obsessive compulsive disorder. So I couldn't just, I'm a type of guy, Queen, that I don't know how to halfway do anything. Either I'm gonna do
Right.
it all the way or not or at all,
Not
period.
at all. Right. Right.
You know, so imagine if I'd ever picked up something negative like a drug, what was going to be where I was going to
We
be.
went off to the races. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because it was somewhere already buried inside you.
That's right.
And that's true. And I, not to get too personal, I could kind of say that's why I kind of my let me see how I can put it. We're not talking about this person, but there was
Yeah.
somebody in a person that I knew in my family, which I knew had those behaviors. So when it was time for my kids to come, I made sure I totally redirected them a different route so that would not fall on them. You have to understand what I'm saying? Because it was
100%.
embedded in that. And because
Uh-huh.
of that, I made sure, you know what I mean, not to make sure they not have to deal with that because it was already in the genetics. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yep. So what else you want to tell me? We got about a couple more minutes. Anything else you want to talk about or share with our viewers? This has been a very informative interview, and I knew it would be. Because I knew you have a lot to say, and I like people to come on who are engaging. And my platform, I hope, is to just help somebody. But also, by the way, with your boxing academy, how can people get in touch with you, and how does it run? How do you're looking for certain age groups? You can expound on that too.
Okay, so first and foremost, right, I am the owner and CEO of Stallworth Boxing Academy. The location is 2621 Center Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15219, which is the old YMCA. Okay, that's number one. We take people of all ages,
right? That's the HI double. Okay.
Yes, the real district. Yes, the real district, right? Of course, the Lord, allowed me to go around the whole globe and come back and bring it back home, the Hill District. So I thank God for that.
Yeah.
We do We do train kids, boys and girls from the age of 5 years old all the way to seniors, right? So boxing is just not an activity, right, for competition, right? But it's good for empowerment. It's good for endurance. It's good for body toning. And I run a program Monday through Friday, you know, and I'm normally during the evenings from 5:30 to 8:30, Monday through Friday. Lastly, we do cardio, body tone exercises. You know, we do a bunch of different things, right? Not just boxing. Okay, and also you can visit me on StallworthBoxingAcademy.com. Also, my other Instagram is Stallworth Boxing Academy 1. One whole word, Stallworth Boxing Academy 1. But my main platform is Change Has Come X, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
You heard him. You heard it here. This man does a lot for the community, and I'm grateful for you to take the time out of your schedule and come on and share your story on the A New After Sunday podcast now. And of course, this is Angela D. Stribling. And again, this is Nighmare Stallworth, and we're signing off. And as I always say, take care, stay blessed, and remember, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good
Peace to
one.
the goddess. Don't forget to look in the mirror every day and say, I am the light at the end of the tunnel. You are God.
Amen.